Hi, everyone, and welcome to my show, The Extraordinarily Ordinary. So today I have a very special guest, Miss Karishma She was born in Malaysia, brought up in India, and now she's back in Malaysia. She completed her study in neuroscience, and now she is a resident volunteer at the Red Door that deals with mental health issues. Okay, so welcome, Miss Karishma,
Thank
to my
you.
show.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying
Thank
yes.
you. I'm so excited to be on your show.
Yay. Okay, so would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So I basically started. I started an initiative called Mind Talks, which deals with mental health for caregivers, and also mental health in general, people with disabilities as well. And at the side, I also do like social media marketing, and I'm also into sales. I love dance. Dance has always been like my constant since I was a kid. Since I was born, that's what my mom said. Since I was born, because apparently I was like dancing in a tummy when she had me.
Dancing in a tummy.
That's how she knew I was gonna be a dancer. But so, yeah.
Okay, you mentioned before that you have a disability. Would you mind sharing with the audience what disability you have, and I mean when and what you were diagnosed with, and maybe some of the challenges you faced as a result of that?
Yes. So when I was a kid, about 10 years old, I actually lost my hearing in my left ear. At that point, I didn't know I had a disability. And I basically just lived with it until I was, I think, about 20 or 21 years old. I did have a lot of challenges in terms of I didn't understand why I couldn't hear someone when they were sitting on my left hand side and they were trying to tell me things. I couldn't concentrate in school because, sometimes you're asked to sit at the back bench, and you really cannot hear what the teacher is talking, especially when you have a hearing loss on one side. When I was about 21, that was when I did my MRI, and it did show that I have a unilateral hearing loss, which is hearing loss in 1 year, whereas my other year, just 1 year. So in my case, I have a hearing loss in my left ear, but my right ear is completely fine. So that's when I knew that there's a nerve called the eighth cranial nerve, which is basically the nerve connected from your ear to your brain. When that nerve is damaged, you do have auditory issues. So yeah, when I was about 21, I was diagnosed with unilateral hearing loss, which is I have about 98% hearing loss in my left ear. If I was to close my right ear, then, and if you were to talk, then I can only hear like a rat, basically. But I won't be able to hear like full sentences or even noise as such, even music. So if you're playing music and I close my right ear, I can't hear.
Because I've been wondering also, because you said you were a dancer, and it struck me like, how are you able to dance when you probably could not hear the music? But now you mentioned that you can feel the vibrations and you can hear from one ear, but the music has to be loud enough lah.
The music has to be loud enough, because if it's not loud enough, then it does hinder my hearing, in the sense that sometimes you like to listen to the lyrics of the song as well to understand your dance moves, because as dancers we want to understand the lyrics so we can move according to the lyrics, especially when you do dances like contemporary, or you're choreographing a song. So in that case, if the song is not loud enough, then I can't hear the lyrics, and then I can't dance according to the lyrics. Yeah.
I see. So what was it like in school when you were younger? When you said you started, I mean, the disability started when you were around 10 years old. So I assume you were still in school at that age. So what was it like? Did you face any bullying, or did your classmates tease you about it? Would you
Yeah.
mind sharing?
Yeah, so I did go through a lot of bullying in school, not just for my
Mm.
disability, but also because my sister was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar.
Oh,
So,
oh, oh, we have that
along,
in common.
yeah,
We're sisters.
yes.
Mm.
So, of course, my classmates got to know about the fact that my sister has a mental illness. At that point, nobody really knew about my disability. I myself didn't know I had a disability. I just thought that one day when I wake up,
Mhm.
my hearing will come back. But obviously, that never happened, and I had to live with it throughout my school days. So, things like when you
Mm.
play. I don't know if you know this game. It's called Chinese Whispers, where you sit in a circle and someone says something in your ear and you have to pass on whatever they have said, exactly what they've said to someone else
Mhm.
who's sitting next to you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
pass the message. Yeah.
yeah, pass the message or
Yes.
something. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So when my
Yeah.
schoolmates and I used to play that game, of course I used to be damn smart because
Mm.
I knew I had a hearing loss. Nobody knew at that point. So in school I had a crush, and
Mm-hmm. Don't we
so
all?
yeah, we all do. So he was sitting on my right side, and we were playing
Yeah.
this game. And of course, the
Mm-hmm.
girl sitting on my left side,
Mm.
she whispered something in my left ear, and
Mm.
I couldn't hear a word of what she said. So I was like, I think I was
Mm-hmm.
not 10, I was 12 or 13 at that time. So I was
Mm.
like, okay, this is a chance. Because he obviously doesn't know what the sentence is. So,
Yes.
so actually, I think I whispered to him. I was like, you are handsome. That's all I said. I said, you are handsome. And then it just went on and on and on. And then when I came to the last person, they were like, is it you are handsome? And they were like, no, it's something else completely different. And obviously nobody knew right that it was me.
Okay, that was it.
So yeah, so funny things like this would happen when we are playing games. But
Mm.
in terms of bullying, I was bullied a lot by my
Mm.
friends. I actually didn't really have many friends in school because they would say stuff like, "Oh, your sister is mad.
Mm.
She's this crazy person. Maybe you'll end up like that as well." Because I was very quiet in school, very quiet. I would not really talk to anyone much, except that if I was playing a game or if I was into sports, then I was really active. Uh, they would say stuff like, sometimes when I really cannot hear, and then they ask me a question, and I would answer something
Mm.
completely different. They would make fun, so they would say like, "Oh, you can't hear. You're such a you're deaf." And at that point,
Mm.
it kind of obviously took my self-esteem away. My confidence was really low. They would say stuff like, "Oh, because my sister did have, suicidal tendencies as well." So they would say stuff
Mm.
like, "Oh, if your sister kills herself, that means you kill yourself too." And this is like to a
Mm.
10-year-old or a 12-year-old, and
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah,
of
you were
hit
basically
me.
still a kid,
Yeah,
right?
I was still a
Mm.
kid, and I was still dealing with my own emotions at that time.
Mm.
And
Mm.
they would, just these little bullying things like take my bag, hide it somewhere, take my stuff, hide it somewhere, simply just make me late for class. The boys would basically just push me down, and at that point, I
Mm.
also, at the age of 9 or 10, I came of age. So, when I would, when girls get their period in school, it would obviously stain their skirt or
Yes.
something. Yeah. And you're so
Yes.
young at that
Because
time,
you
right? So
don't know, you
yeah,
wouldn't know it was coming.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know. And so,
Mm-mm.
they would say like, oh, she's full of blood. Like, she's so dirty. They would say stuff like that. And then it obviously would make me cry
Mm.
because I'm so young. If I was an adult,
Mm-mm.
it's a different thing. Boys would, because at that point, of course, you're going to school. You have to keep like an extra sanitary napkin with you. So the
Mm.
boys would actually take it and they would open it and fling it in class, and then they would throw it in the dustbin. So I didn't really have like a sanitary napkin after that. So I
Oh,
had to
that's so
go through.
bad.
Yeah, so I went through all of this, but then when I went home, I wouldn't tell my parents anything. So I would just keep it to
Mm.
myself. And then I remember I had like a diary. So I'd basically keep the
Mm-hmm.
diary and just write stuff down, and yeah, just leave it at the end of the day. Yeah.
I'm just curious. Did your crush finally know how you felt about him?
He found out when we grew up. I was actually we were Yeah,
Oh.
we were actually like 22 or 23.
Mm-hmm.
And we met after years, and he had a crush on me at that time, but
I
I didn't have a
see.
crush on him at that
Ooh.
time, so things changed. So
Oh, poor
yeah,
boy. You're over
yeah.
it. You
I
were
was
over
over
it by
it,
that time.
exactly. So I did have a crush on you in school, but I don't have a crush on you anymore.
Well, it's his loss, I'm sure. So how is your self esteem and your mental health right now, your condition right now? I mean, obviously you've grown up and you've understood your disability better. You understand your mental health issues better. So how is it now for you?
um, of course, right now it's way better than what I was as a child, and I think my sister has a big role to play in it, because she
Mm-hmm.
and also my parents helped me build my self-esteem. Also, the fact that I started working when I was quite young, so I decided to start to work when I was like 17. um, so my work life
Mm-hmm.
also helped me build my self-esteem, because I got into sales and then I got into marketing, and in sales and marketing you need to talk to people, so that built my
Mm-hmm.
confidence. I learned how to talk to people. I of course made billions of mistakes in the beginning, but I learned from them, and then I just, that's how I built my self-esteem. I did a lot of um, when I got into dance, I did a lot of dance choreographies. I would talk to people about it. I did a lot of reading. Reading also kind of built my self esteem, because I would actually talk to people about what I'm reading. Basically, just talking to people builds your self esteem and confidence, and also acceptance. So, my self esteem was not great until I was like 17 or 18 years old. Um, and then I kind of accepted what I was going through as well. At that point, my sister's illness, the fact that I have a hearing loss, I just accepted it. I was like, okay, I have it, and I can't really do much about it. I can't. There's no cure to it. There are treatments, but unfortunately, with my hearing loss, there's no treatment. So I was just like, okay, I've got to live with it, so I have to move on.
So basically you've accepted your
Yeah.
condition and you've learned to live with it, but at the same time, because you're working also, right? You are currently, you say you're now in social media management and marketing.
Yeah.
So does your hearing disability affect or hinder your performance in any way, and if it does, how do you overcome it?
So, people who have hearing disabilities or hearing loss disabilities, they have this condition called a tinnitus. So, tinnitus is basically when you start getting like buzzing sound in your ear. Um, and that buzzing sound is so bad because you literally feel like you want to bang your head on the wall, because it lasts
Mm-hmm.
either for a few seconds, sometimes it goes up to minutes. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, if I'm on the call or phone for too long, let's say for about 1 hour or so, if I don't take a break after that and then I continue
Mm-hmm.
working or I'm continuously doing calls at night,
Mm-hmm.
I do get a buzzing sound in my left ear, and it can last for about 10 to 15 minutes, which is quite a long time for someone. Imagine like there's a bee in your head and you can't take it out at all. And you want to take it out, but the only way to take it out is either you got to cut your head or you need to bang your head on the wall. Either you can just let it be, or what I do is I either listen to music or I just watch TV, but I put the TV volume high.
Mm-hmm.
So that basically it kind of overpowers the buzzing sound. So
Mm-hmm.
I do that, but sometimes when it's like really late at night, like 2 a.m. in the morning, I can't really be turning on the TV, or I really don't feel like watching or listening music. So I would just ignore it. It is very difficult to ignore it because it's in your head. So what I do is, I know if I'm going to be on a call for 1 hour, immediately after that, I take like a half an hour break and I do something else completely. Like I would either just walk around the house, or I would just read, or if it's the evening, then I'll just cook or something like that, and then I'll get back to work after that.
You have to cook for me sometimes. I love Indian food.
I
was amazed actually to hear your story, because you're the first person that I've well, we haven't really met, but that I've come across who have partially who are partially hard of hearing. Is that the correct term? Partially hard of hearing, or
no,
partial deafness?
So, yeah, called partial deafness or hard of hearing. So hard of hearing actually means that you do have just 1 year a unilateral hearing loss, or it basically explains it on its own. It's hard of hearing, so you actually have a hard time hearing, but you still can hear something. Complete deafness is I really cannot hear anything, so I will literally have to use sign language. But there are people with hard of hearing and partial deafness that can do sign languages, so they basically use sign language. Like I do a lot of lip reading. Yeah, but if you're wearing a mask, then it's very difficult for me because I cannot see you lip read.
Yes.
So yeah.
So how has your mental health been?
I did go through depression 2 years ago. So I had severe depression. I was put on antidepressants, but then I took myself out of it. I didn't want to be on those medications. But illnesses like bipolar, depression, schizophrenia, whatever it is, it's a long-term thing. You just have to learn how to manage your illness. So you need to cope with it. You need to accept it first, that look, I do have this illness, and for me to not relapse, or for me to not go back to to the really sad days, I need to move on. I need to do something to keep myself happy. If it happens, it happens. Like I tell people, just go with the flow, and don't pressurize yourself to be happy. Nowadays, everyone wants to be like, oh, I want to be really positive. I want to be really positive. I'm like, yeah, but there are days where you're not going to be positive.
Yeah.
You are going to feel sad, and it's okay to feel sad. It's fine. You can cry. You can get angry if you want. You can feel sad. It's okay. But it's what do you do after that? How do you deal with your sadness? How do you manage it? Like you can't just feel sad for like 1 whole week, 2 whole weeks, and then not do anything about it. So yeah. But right now, my mental health is way better than what I was back in 2019. That point, I was like really, really low.
Did you have a good support system? Because I understand because as a person with a mental disorder myself, I am lucky that I have a very strong support system from my friends and family. But do you have such support also?
I would not say I had a very good support system because my close ones, I think they kind of failed to understand what I was going through. I don't blame them. They were going through their own issues as well. But I had a very good psychiatrist who was more like a therapist to me than a psychiatrist. He understood, because he's known me since I was a kid, basically, since I was like 9 years old or 10 years old. So he knows me in and out. I started seeing someone, and then he became my support system. He kind of understood what I was going through, and then I basically made new friends. They understood what I was going through. But then I got into fitness as well. So fitness was actually something that I was never into before my depression. I was a dancer, yes, but I was not like into fitness. And then I got into fitness, and actually fitness also changed my life.
I wish I could say the same. My excuse has always been, Malaysia is so hot. It's not a running weather. If I was in the UK, yeah, and it's winter, yeah, I run.
Yeah,
But
you would run in the snow, really? You would run in the
yeah.
snow?
Well, I didn't say I would run far. So anyway, I find your story to be very inspiring, and I'm so glad that we came across each other. Now,
Thank you.
before we end this show, is there anything you would like to say to the whole world?
The
Assuming the
whole
whole world is
world,
watching my show right now. Yes, assuming the whole world, a girl's got to dream big. So if the whole world is watching right now, what would you say to them?
live your life and relax. Don't don't be too pressured, because honestly, at the end of the day, what matters is your mental health. Um, don't. I know the lifestyle has changed. People are really stressed these days with either money, relationships, family, the pandemic. Um, but really, there's no point stressing about things that are not in your hands,
Mm.
and just go with the flow. Take one day at a time. Yeah. And please use humor in your life, especially if you're
Oh, yes.
a person with disability or you have a mental illness. Please use humor. It's okay to make
Yes.
fun of your own disability if you are doing it yourself. So yeah,
Mm.
please do that. It helps you accept what you have as well. It's just like when I don't want to listen to my boyfriend shout and yell or crib when he's right here. And
Hi.
I will basically just show my left ear, or I just put my left ear here, and obviously I can't hear it, so I can't hear a word he's saying.
Yeah, anyway, I just have one message to that boy who you had a crush on.
Yes.
See what she's turned into now. It's your loss. You should have paid more attention to her back then. You know.
Yeah, I hope that boy that I had a crush on in school is watching this video.
Yes. All right. So so Karishma, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being my guest
Thank
today.
you.
And
Okay.
so I wish you all the best. And maybe
Too.
we can catch up over coffee
Yes, let's
sometime.
do that.
You know, it was my pleasure to have you as a guest here on my show. This is actually my very first episode, and I was so nervous, but you made it so easy for
Oh,
me.
thank you. Thank you. Just be
Yes.
yourself, honestly.
So I say everyone else who's watching, my audience, I thank you for watching this video. And let's say if you do have any suggestion on who I should interview, whose story you think I should highlight, then please show it in the comment. Tell me in the comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Bye. Thank you, Karishma. She's currently studying neuroscience.
Oh, I finished studying.
And she has experience working with. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Another mistake. Okay, I'll just tell it. Okay. Okay.
Hello.
This is why we should do recording instead of going live. It's like our first guest that's gonna go in the bloopers.